called. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Build with Kepler podcast. On this podcast, we build tech, businesses, and cities. Hosted by yours truly, Kepler Signo. So today's topic is we'll be building our plan for building our business, and we are planning on building it to a $3 billion company in 300 days. So that's our goal, and that's our time frame. So that means that by March 12th, 2023, there'll be an update on this channel that we've achieved that goal. So first, these are how will we do this, and that will be with these three products. So we have the Church Network app, we have the Green Books app, and we'll have a mystery app, which currently we do not know what it is. We will find out during the journey. So question is, why $1 billion products instead of one $3 billion product? Really, because we want to, and it seems more fun and challenging to do so, to accomplish that. And really, to be honest, it's like once you're able to create the first $1 billion product, then you can repeat that process with other projects. And I've seen other people do it, so I want to do it too. It looks really, really fun, and I'll be very happy on my deathbed. But I'd be like, I did it, So that's pretty cool. So for the people that this is their first time seeing this video, so my name is Kepler, and a very short introduction to myself. I was born October 30th, 1997, to my mother named Bernadette Oxéan and my father, Edouard Signo. I was born in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. I'm actually, I consider myself to be from Côte d'Ivoire. That's where all my family is from. My father's family, my mother's family, they met there. I just was not born there. So I was born and spent my early childhood raised by a single mother in one of the poorest countries in the world. So Haiti is currently considered the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. And as we're also building cities, our goal is to make sure that we no longer have that title. I think, we have had that title for too long. It's time to let somebody else have it. So I've also spent half of my life in the wealthiest country in human history, which is the United States of America. And the majority of that time was spent at one of its richest cities, which is Stamford, Connecticut, which was really, it's a dichotomy that has kind of shifted my mindset about poverty and wealth. So being in those two positions has been really enlightening, I would say. I'm very glad that I got to experience that, and I'm glad that my mom sacrificed to get me here. Thank you, Mom. So I think that will help us is having a strong why. So one of the biggest thing is being Haitian is that I am aware that the freedom that I have now and that I was born in slavery is greatly due to my ancestors fighting and putting their lives on the line and having the mindset and breaking free from the mindset of being enslaved, of staying enslaved. And I also feel as though it's my responsibility to continue with that baton they gave, and me and us to work and to create wealth and to change the mindset of our people so that we can continue this journey and not be in the position that currently Haiti is in. I do not believe that Haiti is going to stay that way. I strongly believe that Haiti will be the wealthiest country in the world by proportion of its population. Another reason is money. That's one of the reasons why we're doing this, because we're creating businesses for money. So we're creating value for people in exchange of money. And it's because there's this mindset, this quote I really enjoy. It says that any problems that can be solved by money are not real problems. So that's why we're going to be generating a lot of wealth, because there's a lot of quote unquote things that can be solved with money, which are not real problems. Another thing is growth mindset, which is also like kind of the reasons why we're really doing this, is to expand on what we think is possible, like what I think possible and what you guys think is possible. what the Haitian people think is possible, this success story will be a way to represent to other people that they can achieve. You can achieve greater than where they came from or where they think they're currently at. And lastly, it's we have one life, one chance. And so, I've always wanted to have an abundance of money. So this is my chance to do so. This is my only chance to do so. So I'm going to do it. So kind of a big part of reaching that goal is mindset. So the big thing is to live in faith versus fear. So these are two quotes that I really like. And so the first one is from Napoleon Hill, where he talks about focus on the possibilities for success, not on the potential for failure. So that's why we're setting up the goal and we're seeing all the ways and we're looking at all the ways that we can achieve that we will achieve this goal, because it is possible. And I see the possibilities. I've already have some plans of how to achieve it. The plans may change. That being said, we have a plan and we have the possibility of achieving those goals. And also, I really love Matthew 7 to 8, asking, it will be given to you, seek and you'll find, knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks the door will be open. So this is especially good for Christians. So you guys can adopt that into your life. And remember, you do have to ask before receiving. So this was inspired by Napoleon Hill, and Think and Grow Rich. He shared the 6 greatest fears that people have. And the ones that I really connected with were the fear of poverty and the fear of death. So being from the poorest country, I saw poverty all around me, and I feared that somehow I would just end up there. And that was a big fear of mine. I was like, it became maybe it could have been a self-fulfilling prophecy where I saw that maybe I would fail somehow in life and end up in that situation where, this is currently back home. So we would be in a straw home and we'll be using donkeys as transportation, as mode of transportation. So that was like, I was very scared, because coming from Stamford, Connecticut, where a lot of my classmates had $1 million homes. And so sometimes I would compare myself and be like, wow, like they have this thing. And when I look back in a sense of what I came from, I was like, our home it's not even worth $100. So that was a thing that I had to challenge. And I challenged that by thinking about my childhood. And when I was back home in Cote d'Ivoire, I didn't hate it. I actually loved it. I loved hanging out with my cousins. Really, to be honest, I loved all of it. I didn't like the poverty aspect, to be honest. Otherwise, I really loved it. So there was no need to fear poverty in reality. I've already lived it. Like this hell that most people have never seen or scared of. I've lived it and I survived and I grew out of it. Another one that was a big one was death. Like some days I would be like, oh, like, why should I work? Why should I strive for things if I can die anytime? So like 2 years ago, I was fortunate to almost die. I got into a car accident. That's me right here on the floor. It kind of looks like a dead person. So that was great. I passed out and I woke up thinking like I thought at the time, like there was blood coming out and there's like these pebbles. And I thought my brain, like my skull cracked and my brain was coming out. I was freaking out. I started crying about it. And at that moment, what really, really showed me 2 things. First, that I can die any moment. So there's really no reason to fear it. Death is going to happen. And secondly, that I have to live for myself. I have to fulfill my dreams and not live for other people, which I was doing at the time. Like even growing my hair out is something that I started doing after this moment, because I've always wanted to grow my hair out, but in Haitian culture, and especially in my household, that was frowned upon. And so I decided, I'm going to live for me and make myself happy, because I can die any moment, right? So that was really good. I no longer fear death or poverty, just because I fortunately I was fortunate to experience it, which is really interesting, because Before then, I would have said, nah, this is terrible, but it's growth, right? And so these are some lessons too from Haiti that I've learned. So freedom was a thing that sometimes I think about when I'm in public, when I'm in white spaces, where like I do realize I'm Black, right? It's a thing, because when I was in Haiti, I didn't realize I was Black. I was just myself. But here, I know I'm Black, and I know that this came with like fighting. It wasn't a free thing, which is tied to the importance of mindset, because like if we didn't have the mindset to see that we're able to free ourselves, then it would have never happened. Like Black Americans had struggles with that. Every Black population had that problem, that were enslaved in the Americas. So one of the things that really allowed the Haitian people was our it was tied to our religious beliefs or traditional beliefs, which was voodoo, which is frowned upon, unfortunately. And that allowed us to free. Like we saw ourselves as, we have the need to have freedom. We do not need to be enslaved. Another thing is a Black genius, which growing up, I've heard a lot of things about Black people in America being better physically because white slave owners bred Black people to have better genetics or things of that nature. And so it was like focusing on our physicalities and things of that nature, and almost nothing on our mental attributes, as if we were really stupid and we just were physically strong. Like we were like Lenny from Of Mice and Men. So that was that was a terrible thing. And fortunately, there have been Black geniuses from Haiti, from America, that have helped me really accept or see Black intelligence. Like Haiti survived against France, against England, and against Spain, which is amazing, to be honest. We have like Jay-Z, Kanye, all these people. There's more. There's Oprah. There's a bunch of Black geniuses. And the other thing is the power of our ancestors. So sometimes it is what allows me to feel what I'm doing is possible and what I'm doing is needed, because our ancestors, they saw extreme hell. They were murdered, they were enslaved, they were raped, and they're able to stand up for themselves and defend themselves and protect themselves and free themselves, which is amazing. So I love that. And I do sometimes, like when things get hard, I think back to my ancestors and like, I'm glad what they did, and I can stand trials and tribulations. And so these are some set lessons from select books. So these are all things that are helping the mindset to reach our goal of $3 billion company. So U squared is really about exponential growth and the possibilities of doing things that seem impossible, that most people would say, oh, you can't do this, when it's, no, it is possible, I can do it, and not to limit or thinking about growing slightly. So a really common thing in the startup world is that it takes 10 years to reach $1 billion valuation. And we're saying that we'll be doing it 3 times in a year, right? So those are things that, and U squared is really what reinforced the possibility and the ability to do so, is that these limiting beliefs are not real. Like if you want to limit something, doubt something, you must doubt your limits. Another book that is going to help us is 1 Million Followers in 30 Days, how I built a massive social following in 30 days. So this will really help us, because we need approximately about 10 million customers to reach our goal. And so the only way we can really do that is by growing our customer base by the millions within short timeframes. And so that book will be studying a lot more. I've read it and I'll have to keep rereading it. I read U Squared often also. Traffic Secrets by Russell Brunson is really amazing too. It's really helpful for being able to acquire users without having to waste money, if that makes sense. Because the premise of the book is how to drive traffic with your customers to your product. Because if you don't have any customers, if you don't have any traffic, then you can't really sell anything. So if you are selling water in the Sahara Desert, right? And that's very important. Like your customers need that, but they don't know where you're selling the water, then you're doing them a disservice and you're doing your business a disservice. So you need to tell them and show them where this water source is when they're quenching thirst, to quench their thirst. Sorry. And the other book is Think and Grow Rich. So really, it's the title is really it is like really thinking and growing into and grow rich. One of the things that I did take away that I've implemented it in this presentation is the importance of planning how to acquire this wealth. Also, I was originally planning on making this much longer and breaking down everything. That being said, Napoleon Hill did include in the book not to do that. So I'm not going to do that. We'll be sharing that in 300 days. And so you guys can see how we did it, how we did it. And 0 to 1 is a great book by Peter Thiel about how to create a very successful startup. And one of the big takeaways from this is if you want to become the next Facebook, you cannot create a social media company. You have to create something that people need that does not exist. And you don't want to be competing with anybody. You want to create a service that is different and that provides a very particular solution to a problem that exists that is not being solved. So essentially, what is the plan? So I was going to break down the plan, but I'll keep it very short and just do some breakdowns. So our goal really is we'll build the Church Network app to $1 billion product, the Green Books app to $1 billion product, and how we'll find a product to build and grow it to $1 billion product. So first, this is a Church Network app. It's a mobile app for churches and Christians looking for spiritual abundance. And we use biblical principles to achieve that. So this is kind of this is our product, what it looks like currently. And this is our mission is really to help Christians nurture the relationship with Christ. So kind of what are the problems that we're solving? So the first one is Christians are very limited on the amount of resources on their phones to nurture the relationship with Christ, which is the most important relationship. And so what we're providing is them to receive daily teachings from Christian leaders in an easily digestible manner. So something that's kind of addictive. So like when they're bored, they'll just go scroll through and really just passively, even if it's not, it depends on how they want to use it. It can be very engaged or just a passive thing when they're bored. And so these ways you're investing your time into Christ. And in the Bible, there is a verse about how it doesn't matter how much wealth you accumulate on earth, because eventually it's going to rot. Like you can hide it, it's going to be stolen. And the only thing that really matters is your abundance in heaven, like the wealth that you've invested in for eternity. So that's really what we're striving to do. And we also are helping churches. Like another thing we want to do is help churches get into the tech world, because technology is where their audiences are. That's where the congregation is. And a lot of churches don't have many resources, so we've made it free for them, and we're building the company really around to support the church. So we'll be providing a lot of resources to pastors to help them, so that because pastors are oftentimes stretched thin because they're doing so many things. So we want to help them, and the Church Network app will be a way for them to also generate revenue to the church, because revenue is needed to help the church to continue the mission, because you can't go to a mission trip without tickets, plane tickets. So you can't really spread the gospel without any, like without capital. So this is our very quick breakdown. It's not complex. So we just wanted to know the numbers. So Church Network app is currently $79.99 a month, or $500 a year for a 40% discount. We will focus on the yearly subscription. This was inspired by David Shands with his Morning Meetup subscription model, which is also $79.99 a month. So really, we're using that framework to build our business. So to generate $1 billion in revenue, we will have to sell 2 million yearly subscriptions. So this way we know our numbers, we know what we're aiming for, and we'll be able to know who can also afford that, because some people cannot, some people can. So these are important things to do. Like that being said, we do exclude churn from the equation. It's an important metric. There's a lot of important metrics in this that we did not include because we do not currently have those metrics, and we'll be sharing that with you guys as throughout the journey and seeing where we are. And a goal that we have after, besides helping Christians and churches, is to get this entrepreneurial Bootstrap Award by Russell Brunson. This is, so we have to get it by August. So it's over, I believe he's releasing Who Wins by September. So by August, we want to get that because it'll be amazing. I just really want to get it. It'd be really cool. It's a cool award, And so our second product is Greenbooks. It's a used textbook marketplace for college and university students. So really the problem that we're solving is that students are spending a lot of money on textbooks. And so we will be helping them save money and time when buying textbooks so that they can succeed in their courses. And our $1 billion breakdown. So first, we estimate that we'll be able to save students up to $2,500 a year, not a year, but during their lifetime and their post-secondary education. So then this allows us to price our product at a 10%. So which is $250. So we break it down to generate $1 billion in sales, we'll have to have 4 million customers. So 4 million college students that are saving money, that are saving 90% on textbooks, so which is great value for them. And the lastly is our mystery box, or mystery product, really. So it will come in due time. That's one of the things. We don't currently have a product. We have 2 offers that entrepreneurs can take advantage of so that they can work with us and we'll be able to grow their businesses. That being said, we'll have to see what their ideas are and if they have a business around it, because we do want to have a winning product. We don't want something that does not work. We don't want to create another Facebook. So if somebody says, oh, I want to create the Facebook of this, then we'll definitely say no. So we do have 2 offers. These are Build Your Rocket Ship and Co-Pilot with us. So really this is for, you'll be working alongside with us. We'll be partners in this venture. It's valued at $100 million because we're going to be creating $1 billion in value. And we'll actually only charge $300,000 and 65% equity because we'll be taking most of the knowledge, and we'll be doing a lot of the labor. We'll be working alongside each other, and we're doing a lot of the systems and things of nature to build out this project. And we do have the Build Your Rocket Ship with Autopilot. So this is if you have a business idea and we like it, and you want to be kind of offhand mostly. So again, this is also valued at $100 million, and this one it'll only be for $3 million because there are risks associated with startups. And we'll also be taking 49% equity. The capital allow you guys, because with the capital, we'll be able to leverage out the risk. And thank you so much for watching. This is our goal for this year, for the next 200 days, to reach $2 billion in valuation. Ciao, guys.